What up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're looking at my custom of Titanus Sargon from the Monsterverse. So if you guys don't know, Titanus Sargon here was one of the many titans woken up by Ghidorah during the events of King of the Monsters. Now in some of the articles I found, he's depicted as a giant beetle, mainly because Sargon is like a genus of beetle or something. They thought it was also a reference to Sargon, who was the leader of the Akkadian Empire. Maybe Sargon here was named after them, and he was like their protector or something. I'd like to think maybe Sargon defended the Akkadians from Titanus Abaddon, which is why Abaddon and Sargon have a rivalry. Because it is confirmed that these two titans are rivals. And then sometime he went into hibernation, only to be woken up by Ghidorah. So I asked one of my friends which one of these beetles I should turn into Titanus Sargon, because I have a few of these. So this guy used to be a Bass Pro beetle, came in a little bag full of other bugs, and my friend chose this one right here because he's got these long pincers. And I didn't think the pincers would be enough, so I sculpted a horn right here for the head, along with these little horns back here, and these smaller ones here. And I also made these other ones on his back right here. So for all the horns on Sargon here, I made all of them out of the Super Sculpey. I sort of like put this one on his head and sculpted it in the shape, took it off, put all the pieces on in the oven and baked them. And then once they got hardened, I glued each of the pieces on and sculpted around some of them. The clay I used to sculpt around the pieces was the air dry clay, and a little bit of the milliput on these three horns right here. Also on this one. Oh, here's a funny story. Before I used the Sculpey putty to make these horns, I just broke random pieces of plastic and glued them on to make them look like horns. But I didn't think it worked out too well, so I made the horns out of the sculpting putty. Actually, two of the horns on here are actually pieces from a toothpick. Like this one right here. And where's... oh yeah, I think that one's a toothpick as well. But either way, all the horns on here look pretty nice. And some of the broken pieces on here could be like battle damage. Also notice that I sort of forgot to sculpt this little piece right here. But we could say maybe that's like a battle damage scar from when he fought with, I almost said Sargon, but this guy is Sargon. This could be a scar from when he fought Titanus Abaddon. Dang you, Abaddon, how dare you give me this scar right here? Next time we meet, I'll pinch you with my pincers. Also found out something else that's pretty confusing. So right here it says that Sargon is in Jerusalem, Israel. But when I looked up his outpost, it said it was somewhere in the Amazon. Which one do you think is the most accurate one? Amazon or Israel? I guess we could say that in my Monsterverse, this version of Sargon's in the Amazon. Let's get into the colors of this guy. So for the pincers right here and the claws on his toes, I painted them in this mixture of khaki and gray. It was originally going to be the color of the underbelly, but after looking at reference photos, I thought this color would suit the pincers more. So I painted the pincers, painted the claws here. Then I covered them in a coat of super glue to make sure they don't get rubbed on. Same with the pincers here. And actually, I used my drone to try to make some curves in here to make it look more realistic. Almost tried to give it like a bony texture. I think it was somewhat successful. For the rest of the body, I did a dark brown color. And the head here is actually a bit of a darker brown. The underbelly is this lighter brown color, and the eyes are done in a bright orange. And I love how he came out. Oops. So now that we've got a good look at Sargon here, let's compare him to all the other Monsterverse creatures in my collection. First, let's compare him to my painted custom of the Skullcrawler. Next up, we have him next to Titanus Rodan. Now here he is compared to Titanus Masura. And we have some fellow arthropods here. Both are insects. Wow! Here he is next to all my other custom titans. Tiamat, Kumunga, Leviathan, and Dakuwanga. Oh look, more arthropod relatives here. Wow! And one of my favorites to do, here he is compared to the alpha of old titans, Godzilla. I think maybe Sargon should be at least a little bit bigger like this. But I'm okay with how big he is right now. So I think that does it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think of this custom in the comments down below. Till next time, we'll see you all later.